everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a video on what to do and what not to do on your first day of a new job. I started my first full-time job out of college about 3 months ago, and so a lot of these things are still fresh in my mind. There are some things that I wish that I did do and things that I haven't really heard other people mention in videos like this, so I thought I would just make my own and kind of give you my tips and advice on what to look out for your first day of work. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you found it helpful, and comment below and let me know if you have any tips that you would like to share. So basically, when you start a job for the first time, it can be very daunting and scary. The night before my first day of work, I couldn't sleep at all. I was just freaking out. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect at all. And I felt like I was prepared in some aspects, but in other aspects, I didn't really know what it was going to be like, because it was my first kind of like real job out of college. So I'm just gonna go through my list of things to do and things to definitely not do on your first day of work. So my first tip here is to bring a notepad and a pen on your first day. I made sure to do this on my first day of this job that I'm currently in, but I had an internship in college and I didn't do this on the first day, but the first day that I came in, we actually had a meeting. So I didn't even really have a desk or any materials yet. So I basically just went in and then went straight to the meeting. And of course, when you're in a meeting, you need to have something, like you need to write down stuff. And I didn't have that, so I had to be that person that was asking someone like, oh, do you have like a extra notepad and pen? And that's just not really a great first impression. Luckily, it was just an internship that happened at, but you definitely don't want that to happen in a job setting. So just make sure to bring a notepad and pen, just keep it in your bag, and you never know when you're gonna need it. And along those same lines, whenever you have a meeting or your boss brings you into their office or just anything, just make sure to bring a pencil or to bring a pen and paper, because I didn't really get into that habit until very recently. And the last time I went into one of my supervisor's offices, he said,
oh, just to let you know, I like to have people bring a pen and paper when they come into my office.
And I was like, oh my God, like I felt so stupid. And I definitely learned from that kind of harsh lesson there. And since then, I constantly have one with me, no matter what. Bring a notepad and pen on your first day. The next tip I have is to repeat someone's name after they've introduced themselves to you. On your first day of work, you're gonna meet probably a lot of people, and it's gonna be very hard to keep track of their names. So, when you shake their hand and tell them their name and they're like, oh, my name is Sue, say, oh, hi Sue, nice to meet you. Because that is just a way to kind of remember someone's name a lot better when you actually say it yourself. So I've started doing that and it's been very helpful for me. Another thing to help remember people's names is if your firm or your office, they have a website with a list, like a directory of people that work there. Try to kind of scan that over, and if there's pictures next to the names, that's even better. Like I did that before my first day because I'm just really not good with names at all, and I didn't want to be that person that was forgetting someone's name, even though I would have to work with them every single day side by side. So I kind of stalked the website a little bit and made sure that I knew everyone's name in my part of the office, that like my team that I work with. So that just helps ease a little bit of the tension there. But if you are meeting other people around the office, definitely repeat the names back so that you'll remember them. The next thing is this is kind of an obvious one and everyone mentions it, but arrive 15 minutes early to work. This is so important. You don't want to be that person that shows up late on the first day. People get an initial impression of you, and it is very, very hard to break that first impression. So you want that first impression to be that you're punctual, that you are on time, that you look good, everything's, perfect. So try and just arrive 15 minutes early. When you come in, there's most likely someone else that's going to be there too, so you can meet them, kind of chit chat a little bit, and then, you know, find out where you're sitting and get situated before everyone else piles in for the day. And then make sure to have a little bit of an elevator pitch. You might think that, you know, I already got the job, so I don't really need to do the elevator pitch anymore, but that's not true. You're gonna meet people, and, you know, you're gonna want to have a little something to say about yourself when you're meeting them, so they get to know who you are a little better. So for example, if I was meeting someone, I would shake their hand and say, oh, hi, I'm Naomi, nice to meet you. I just graduated from the University of blah, 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 and I'm working as a financial analyst here. Or something, like, just have something to say. Don't just say, oh, I'm Naomi, like, that's it. Because people kind of expect you to give a little bit more information about yourself and to seem a little bit more open and friendly and willing to have a conversation. Don't be the first one to go home. So if, like, I work from 8:30 to 4:30, and I still try to not be the first one to leave every day, just because I don't think that looks very good when you're, like, ready to go and other people are just, like, still working or sitting there. I'm not saying to, like, stay at work half an hour past, you know, when you're supposed to leave, but I mean, just try and walk out at the same time as someone else, or just don't be that person who's always the first one to get out, you know? That's just my opinion, and I've tried to definitely not do that. Okay, so on your first day, you might not know, you know, what the lunch schedule is and how people do lunch in the office. So I would recommend just bringing a bagged lunch. Just bring like a peanut butter sandwich or something that doesn't need to be refrigerated or heated up. Just something really simple, and just some little snacks too if that's not enough food for you. And just keep that in your bag. A lot of people will go out to eat that day, and they might invite you to go with them, and if they saw you like putting stuff in the fridge for lunch, they might not invite you because they assume that you already brought a lunch. So just kind of keep it so where you could do either way. If someone invites you to go to lunch with them, definitely do it, because that's just a great way to get to know people, and you should just always accept invitations to network a little bit more with your new colleagues. But if it's more of a situation where they just kind of eat at their desk, or they maybe go into the break room, do that. And if there is a break room and you're not going out to eat that day, I would recommend definitely eating in the break room, because then you'll see a lot of people coming in and out, and they'll introduce themselves, and you'll get to meet them and get to know them a little bit. It is a little daunting because during lunchtime you just kind of want to relax, but that's just not going to really happen on your first day or your first few weeks even. So bring a lunch that you can just keep in your bag and eat in the break room if you're not going out to eat with people, just to get to know your coworkers. Okay. And these other ones are more for like appearance. I would say don't wear super heavy makeup to work, at least on the first day, because you don't want someone's first impression of you to be, oh wow, look how much makeup they have on. You want them to get to know you and what you have to say, and not so much how you're looking. So that also goes for clothing. You really don't want to be too flashy and out there with your clothes on the first day. I would say if you interviewed with them, with this company, and maybe you met some of the future coworkers that you were gonna have when you got your offer, then kind of remember how they were dressed and go sort of along those lines, because you definitely don't want to be too underdressed, but on the other hand, you don't want to be super overdressed either. But if it is your first day, so I think that being overdressed is okay. I was a little overdressed on my first day, but I felt comfortable doing that because I work in a very, very professional environment, and I just felt better knowing that I was dressed professionally. And I haven't been there long enough to feel comfortable going a little bit more casual, but it kind of just depends on where it is that you're working. And one thing, whenever I go to the store to buy like work dresses and tops, everything seems to be like sleeveless dresses all the time, sleeveless blouses, and I have never seen anyone in my office out of the like 40 some people there wear anything sleeveless, like just on its own. So if you're gonna wear a sleeveless dress, which I think would just look absolutely fine in the office, just, you know, if it's a appropriate work, like professional dress, but bring a blazer or a cardigan or something to put over it, because you never know. I would feel very uncomfortable in my office setting wearing a sleeveless dress or top or anything like that, just because people don't do that really. There's some short sleeve tops and short sleeve dresses, but not sleeveless. And by sleeveless, I don't mean like spaghetti straps or like strapless. I mean like this, like if this was a dress and this was this, you know, the sleeve was like this wouldn't even really be appropriate, because I guess showing your shoulders is not professional or something. But if it was like this, it would be fine. But I wouldn't wear this top to work regardless, of course. But yeah, just kind of pay attention to what other people are wearing and try to be very aware of that and to use that as a baseline for what you wear. I'm all about self-expression and, you know, wearing things that you enjoy. But in these first few days and weeks of the job, you really don't want people to be focusing on that. You want kind of your chance to prove that you can handle the workload and that you're, you know, a good fit for the job. So you really don't want them to be thinking about your clothes at all. So that's why I say to kind of go a little bit more muted and neutral colors, and just kind of go based off what other people are wearing too. If everyone else is wearing super fun colors and, you know, kind of more casual stuff, then like go right ahead, but be aware of your surroundings all the time. Probably the most important tip that I have for you is to always make sure to ask questions. This I have been guilty of, and I've been like really trying to not do this so much. But if you are in someone's office and they are asking you like, oh, like, how are you liking this job? Are you liking it here? Do you have any questions? Even if you don't have a question, like, come up with something. You want to think on your feet and just be ready to ask something. Because if they were bringing you into their office and telling you about the job and you're new and you say, oh no, I don't have any questions, like, that just doesn't sound good and that doesn't look very good on you. So even if it's just something simple like, oh, how long did it take for you to get accustomed to this job? Or like something that's job related. It doesn't have to be super specific, but just keep that conversation going a little bit. If you say, no, I don't have a question, and it just ends the conversation right there, it's just not a great thing to be doing. I just think it's always important to fully listen and to absorb what other people are saying. And from that, you can usually just come up with your own questions that you have and just keep the conversation going and show to the person you're talking to that you're capable of these higher level conversations. And it's just kind of expected, because whenever I've said, no, I don't have any questions, like, because I really don't, it just doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well with me, and I can tell that the person I'm talking to is like kind of surprised, because they kind of wanted to guide you and help you out. So you should have something to ask. I mean, it's a brand new job, so I'm sure that there's like a million questions that you have. So just try and keep that going there. And I think you should be in good shape. So yeah, those are all my tips for you. All things that I learned from personal experience, mistakes that I've made, things that have caught me off guard before. So just try and think about these tips. Hopefully they help you out in your job if you're starting one. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.